I think there are many sides to this man. He's probably the greatest churchman Australia has ever produced, certainly the biggest figure on the international stage that the Australian Church has ever produced. He's a man that made enormous contributions in education, to youth ministry, to justice and peace, to a number of areas that he had a particular commitment and interest in. He was a great defender and proponent of the gospel of Jesus Christ and the Catholic faith. He chose as his motto, "Be not afraid." These are the words of Christ that Christ spoke on a number of occasions to his disciples, and he wanted us to share in that courage and confidence that he had in divine providence, that God is always with us, and to entrust ourselves fully to him. He was Archbishop of two dioceses, first of Melbourne and then of Sydney. That's only happened once in the history of our country. To rise to being the third highest ranking person in the Catholic Church. He's had a lot of adversity in his life, and you think of the constant criticism that he's received in some quarters for years and years and years, and then the false accusations that were made against him, and the conviction, and ultimately his vindication by the High Court of Australia. But in the meantime, he had more than a year in prison. Most of us don't know the experience of being unjustly imprisoned, but we could expect it would embitter us. In his case, it seemed to make him, if anything, gentler and kinder and more forgiving. Look, I think that is one side of George Pell, that he was a man of deep convictions and he stood up for them and he argued for them. He didn't try to impose them on anyone, but he was certainly going to propose them. I think too, what people didn't see was there was a softer side of George Pell. He was a man of a really big heart that went with that big body. So he had a great concern for the poor and was constantly helping poor people in one way or another that the world will never know about. He was a man of genuine compassion for people that were suffering and would do what he could about that. So that side of him, probably those of us that knew him personally got to see, and maybe wasn't so obvious in the public persona. Whether it's been the gift of World Youth Day or the gift of his teaching, of the educational institutions he established around the country, the leadership he gave at an international level. One way or another, this man is a lion of our church.